Well, we've been married twice.
Whoa. He's giving you over $22,000.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
Whoa. Who's this? Who's this?
You know this girl?
I don't think I do.
Hey, Neve and Max. My name is Mike. I'm in the military, and I'm married to a webcam model named Nina. A few years ago, she met a customer named John, and they started talking. He gets a rise at the thought of ending our relationship. This guy claims to be some sort of big shot. He says he has a Lamborghini and a private plane, but I think it's more likely that he's just a fraud. How long have you guys been married?
Well, we've been married twice.
Whoa. So when did you get married the first time?
It was in 2009, but we ended up getting divorced.
And how long were you not married?
6 years. We got married again in April 2016.
Okay, so Nina, being a webcam performer, that's a big category. What are we talking here?
I just hang out and talk. I log in, we'll do a countdown for topless, and if we get naked, we can do anything from oil shows to baking shows. Like, I can do my own laundry and work at the same time.
Multitasking.
Wow. And Mike, how do you feel about Nina doing this?
And at first, I was definitely like, no, heck no, there's no way. But I'd rather her do it here at our house than to be at a strip club or something. But for this one particular person, she let her job get way too far. And I feel like emotionally she has cheated on me. And it really hurts. I really don't like the whole situation. And that's why I'm glad you guys are here to help.
All right, so now let's just talk a little bit about John. Tell us about this guy.
He is 35. He lives in St. Louis, no kids, no wife. In 2015, he came into the chat room, was like, I'm going to tip you anonymously so the chat room can't see it, but I want you to keep your clothes on. It's not just a sexual thing for him. He really wanted to get to know me as a person. And I wasn't married at the time when all of this kind of started, so I was this single divorcee. He purchased my personal phone number and we would text back and forth. Things kind of escalated. We had an emotional connection that makes you want to keep talking to someone.
Have you guys tried to meet up?
He makes an attempt to meet, but he never actually meets. Back in January 2016, I had purchased something for him, but because he wouldn't meet me, I could not give it to him. So I left it in my car and I told him, just open the car door, grab it out the seat.
He left a card and a rose in my car.
Wow.
And I was like, wait a minute, he's willing to just show up at our house like this? Now it's become a safety thing. Like, I don't know if this guy's weird enough to come here and harm me or even snatch my kids up.
I love Mike. I have 2 kids with Mike. We have a history. But Mike wasn't always this, I love you, I want to be with you person. When he got divorced, he went through his party stage, and I was at home taking care of our kids. So I kind of got attached to John. Now I want to see what should have been, what could have been, what could be. Like, you just
So there's this
know.
still kind of
Right.
like last ditch
effort.
effort.
can't-
This is a
You
last
can't
ditch
let him
effort.
go.
Back in August, John said he was gonna help me file for divorce.
Whoa.
I trusted him. And I get a hotel, and I expected John to be there that weekend, but he never showed up. So I don't know what's real and what's fake anymore.
Besides John, do you have other friendships through the site?
Yes, there's one person that is a long-term regular. Miles was in my room for about 3 years. He lives in Ohio. I met him once on a lunch date.
He came down to Little Rock.
He was very sick. When we met, he had an oxygen tank. There was something really wrong with him.
We looked into Miles and Midnight, but didn't find much.
So that's a dead end.
And then, of course, there's good old Donnie. And guess what? Donnie's into cars and drugs. You said he was obsessed with you in high school. And he's local, so it makes sense. He could have access to your car. So I don't think we can rule Donnie out. But in the end, we didn't really find any hard evidence to prove that he is or isn't him. So we just figured, let's just text John.
Okay.
I said we wanted to know if you'd be willing to come to Los Angeles to meet up with us and Nina. He said, for her, I can be there tomorrow. I'll get there once I can make the schedule work.
That's always kind of been an excuse.
But he's coming.
Well, he says he's coming.
Should I text them?
Sure,
That sound okay?
sure. If we don't hear back and John sort of disappears. Oh,
Got something?
wow, that was quick. Is this really what you want? Hey,
Hi.
how you doing?
All right.
I'm Neve.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. What's your name?
Miles.
Miles, AKA John.
Yeah.
You met him. You don't recognize him?
It's been some years.
Does he look different?
Yeah.
I was 100 pounds heavier when I met her.
Okay. What took you so long to fess up?
I was afraid what's gonna happen.
And the guy in the picture's just some random dude from the internet, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But everything I've said to you is true about my feelings for you.
And the time that John stopped by her driveway and put something in her car,
That was me.
That was you. And do you live near there, or?
No.
Do you live in Ohio?
Yeah. All the times I tried to meet you, I was down there.
So you,
That was all real.
How many times have you made that drive?
I don't know, around 20 or so, right? I don't
Wow.
know.
I just don't understand why you felt like you weren't good enough.
As me, I told you I had feelings for you before.
You
Do you
have.
remember that?
I remember that.
What was
But
your
you
answer?
never
And that's not why I did this. I just want to be clear about that. I didn't do this because I was mad at you for saying whatever you said then or whatever. The reason why I did it was because I wanted you to understand that there are other people out there that would treat you the way you should be treated. I didn't intend to fall in love with you, and I didn't expect you to fall in love with him.
And why didn't you meet her when she moved into a hotel and was on the verge of divorcing her husband?
Well, because of what happened that day with her husband, and so.
What?
Mike had been tracking my car. He found me at the hotel thinking I was meeting John.
And?
He freaked out. There was a big argument. Became a big thing. The cops were called.
So there was a big incident that day.
Yeah.
That
And
you-
I felt
were
going.
you there?
I was an hour and a half, 2 hours away.
Okay.
And then that happened, and I felt if I went down there, it would just put fuel to the fire. And I didn't want it to get any worse for her at that moment.
So leaving me alone in a
Huh?
hotel room to cry was the better option.
No, it wasn't, but
That's what your actions say.
I know, it was a bad choice, bad mistake. You know I care about you. You know I do.
I can tell, because this is what you do to people that you care about. You string them along for 3 years. Why did you feel like you had to
I
pretend
had
to be
no self-esteem. You know how big I was when I came down to see you. And at least in my eyes, how much better I look now. I didn't have the self-esteem to just say, it's me. I've been in love with you all this time. I just couldn't do it because I didn't feel I was the way I wanted to be. All I could say is, I'm sorry. It wasn't ever meant to be malicious.
I know it wasn't. And I'm not mad. I am disappointed.
Yeah.
I understand low self-confidence. What I don't understand is you could have seen that things with her and Mike were clearly on the mend, and you could have said, you know what, I have my friendship with her as Miles. I'm gonna make sure I don't f that up, so I'm just gonna sort of have John fade away.
At the time, I told him it was to get custody back of the children.
So that's not true.
Yes and no. At that time, I felt like that was the right thing I wanted to do at the time.
That was where we were trying to get to, but it popped up like really quick. She's like, I'm doing it now. I was like, oh, here we go. She's actually gonna do this. So when she said that, yes, I was in 100% to
So it was
support
her initiative.
Yes, I was told that she was leaving him regardless of what happened with us. And then I'm on the way down, and the incident happened with the hotel.
At that time, I was so vulnerable. The fact that you were John the entire time probably wouldn't have been that big of a deal. When I needed you the most, you weren't there.
Are you open to starting another life, or is it really over?
I made my decision. I'm gonna go home and give my 100% effort. And I am going to remove you from social media, and I don't want to have contact with you.
I feel like it was kind of like a blessing in disguise because it kind of opened my eyes to being more attentive to Nina and making sure that I proved that I love her as much as I say I do.
I haven't spoke to him. I generally miss him as a friend, but I feel like there's so much damage that if I tried to be friends with him, I don't think I could believe anything he's ever said.
Right.